Hey guys, today we're going to learn about news and media literacy. So before we get started, there's a couple definitions that we really need to understand. So the first of those is media literacy. There are three key parts of media literacy. The first part is knowing how to create your own media. So what do we mean when we say media? Media can refer to anything such as writing a news article or making a video for online, really anything like that. So the first step is knowing how to create your own media. The next step is knowing how to access the media that other people have made. So to be media literate, you have to know how you can find a news article online or a video from your local news station, something like that. And then finally, the last part of media literacy is knowing how to critique the media that other people have made. So we need to be able to know whether or not it's legitimate, whether or not it's real, and giving us true information. The next key term we need to understand is news. So news refers to new or recent information about important events. And news can be given to us in a variety of ways, but today we're going to talk about news articles that we see online. So combining those two terms, we get news literacy. So if we combine those definitions, we know that news literacy means being able to create, access, and critique new or recent information about important events. So there are 9 key parts of a news article that we need to look at in order to be able to determine whether that news is real or fake or somewhere in between. The first thing you want to look at when you're determining how trustworthy a news source is the URL. The URL is the link at the top of the page that tells you what website you're on. It's important to make sure that the URL matches up exactly to the news site that you're looking for, because sometimes scam websites will use a URL that's very similar to the real source, but off by 1 or 2 letters. So it's important to make sure that it's exactly the same. Headline is the term that we use when we're talking about the title of the article. Usually this is at the top of the page and it's going to be in bigger letters than the news article itself. The headline should summarize what the article is about, but sometimes websites will use a headline that is intended to convince you to click it and mislead you into thinking that the article will be about something different than it is. It's important to make sure that the headline matches the article content. The next thing you want to look at is the section of the website that the article was posted on. Sometimes the articles that we see look like they might be news articles, but they're actually posted under the opinion section. If it's posted under the opinion sections, that means that you should be careful when you're reading it because some of the information might not be fact. The next thing that you want to look at is the byline of the article. This is the part that says who wrote the article and when they wrote it. You'll want to make sure that the author is either a professional journalist or an expert in the field that they're writing about, and that the article was published fairly recently so that you know that the article isn't outdated. If the article doesn't have an author or a date, it's likely that the article is not trustworthy. It's also important to check the images and the videos that are posted on the article's page. Sometimes those images and videos are used to summarize or describe the content of the article, which is a good thing. But sometimes those images or videos might be something that's crazy or hard to believe, or an advertisement, all meant to convince you to click on the article. You should look for news sources that have images and videos that summarize the content of the longer amount of time that you spend on a news website, the better it is for the company that runs that website. In order to get you to stay on their website longer, news websites will sometimes put a related articles section at the bottom of your article so that you can continue to explore the topic. You should keep in mind when you're looking at these related articles that some of them might be opinion pieces and some of them might be sponsored. Sometimes when companies want publicity for their products, they'll write an article about their product and then pay a news website so that their article appears on that website. It's usually disguised as a news article and may include a headline or image that's intended to shock you and convince you to read the article. These types of articles are extremely biased and you should be careful when reading them because they are probably very untrue. Another way that companies will try to get your attention while you're on a news website is by putting advertisements on that website. These advertisements can again be disguised as news articles or use shocking headlines or images intended to convince you to click the link. You should keep in mind that these will often be labeled as advertisements and they shouldn't be considered. At the bottom of a news article, there's usually a comment section where people can leave comments about the article that they just read. Anybody is allowed to comment on a news article, which means that not everybody has correct and accurate things to say. You should keep in mind when you're reading comments that those comments might be mean or untrue and aren't